The women parliamentary opposition members, former Minister of Foreign Affairs Dr. Karen Cummings, former Minister of State Don Hastings-Williams, former Minister of Public Service Tabitha Sarabo-Hali, as well as former Magistrate Geeta Chandan Edmund, all joined their voices in a press conference via Zoom to speak about the COVID-19 pandemic and the government's approach to the issue. Former Minister of State Don Hastings-Williams propounded that the APNU AFC government, during its tenure, assiduously developed a clear and strategic plan to combat the virus by implementing measures to contain its spread while continuing the delivery of essential services. She spoke to how policing groups, task forces, volunteers and other official bodies were equipped to respond to threats of COVID-19. He further called on the PPP administration to implement measures that would contain the spread of COVID-19 as it seems to be spiraling out of control.
And so again, in conclusion, I call on the PPPC government to take stringent measures and to have a clear policy on how they are going to manage this COVID-19.
Former Minister of Foreign Affairs Dr. Karen Cummings posited that those vulnerable continue to bear the brunt of the pandemic and further criticized the 2020 budget for the health sector of being devoid of fiscal support to adequately cushion the effects of the pandemic.
There is no provision to create incentives for health workers to continually risk their lives to protect the health of this nation. There is no provision for public behavior change programs that combat the spread of COVID-19. There is no provision to continue and even ramp up training of new healthcare workers as the ones are dissatisfied, leave for greater pastures like in the UK, while those who are left behind grow exhausted.
Meanwhile, Geeta Chandan Edmund, who supervises the business of Home Affairs in the National Assembly for the opposition, said that gatherings continue to occur in several areas and in large numbers, while persons are also seen without face masks in public. He also stated that the Ghana Police Force, which is responsible for COVID-19 enforcement operations, seem to be lacking leadership and direction in enforcing prescribed measures.
What we have seen since August 2nd is a relaxing of the enforcement. It is evident that the police have become politically instructed to stand down while COVID-19 is spreading at an alarming rate. A free-for-all attitude is encouraged by the PPP government.
Former Minister of Public Service Tabitha Sarabo-Hali explained to media operatives that during her tenure as minister, she enforced a work-from-home system, a staff rotation system, a 50% reduction mechanism for public sector workers, as well as access to several government-related services online for public access, which allowed for social distancing and further the containment of the COVID-19 pandemic. In lashing out at the president for putting systems back to the way they were before, he stated that such a move is irresponsible and also unacceptable.
This, I believe, is emblematic of the approach that the PPP regime has taken to the COVID-19 pandemic. An attitude that suggests to the population that the pandemic is not serious and life should return to normal as quickly as possible. This blanket disregard for the health and safety of the citizens of this country is unacceptable.
When the PPP government took office on the 2nd of August 2020, the COVID-19 dashboard reflected a total of 474 cases with just 21 fatalities. 57 more persons have died since then. The death toll as of Tuesday, August 29th, stood at 78, while the number of positive cases was 2,846. September has been recorded as the deadliest month for COVID-19 in Guyana, with 39 deaths for the month so far. Guyana recorded its index case and death on March 11, 2020. And while other countries are flattening the curve, Guyana's infection and death rate continue to rise. Wendell Badrie for the HGP Nightly News.